this year's opportunity for job seekers. Join us Saturday, October 8, 2022, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for the 27th Women of Color STEM Conference Job Fair. There's no registration fee, and it's open to all job seekers. Register today. Are you looking for employment or internship opportunities? Join us from the comfort of your home, office, or mobile device at our virtual job fair. Top companies are here to hire you. For more information on how to register, visit www.womenofcolor.net, click the register link, and navigate to job seekers. Again, that's www.womenofcolor.net. Look for the register link and click job seekers.
Good morning. Live from the Huntington Place in Detroit, it's the 27th Women of Color in STEM Conference Digital Twin Experience, the first of its kind in the recruitment and convention industry. Streaming on the Women of Color DTX platform and on STEM City USA. Brought to you by Raytheon Technologies and Women of Color magazine. Hosted by Jacobs and sponsored by Abbott Laboratories, L3Harris Technologies, and Lighthouse. Welcome to the Leaders and Legends recognition event where we are embracing the change.
Let's welcome your legendary host and panel moderator. She's an award-winning educator on a mission to empower people to pursue their STEM dreams. Associate Dean of Academic Programs in the Wilson College of Textiles at North Carolina State University. Internationally recognized engineer extraordinaire. She herself, the 2019 WOC in STEM Technologist of the Year. Who else would we be talking about but the amazing Dr. Pamela McCauley?
Good morning. Good morning. It is so good to see you all. Thank you so much for getting up and having breakfast with us. So again, welcome. And it is just beautiful to see so many new faces here in the room. And I want you all to know just how important it is for you to be here. It's a joy to feel the warmth of a personal interaction, and I think we can all appreciate that after what we've been through, but here at my beloved Women of Color in STEM event. And I hope each of you is having an incredible time connecting with your fellow STEM innovators and colleagues at this one-of-a-kind Women of Color in STEM conference. And Leaders and Legends event, this is what we call the Leaders and Legends event. It never fails to inspire me. And I have to say, I always hear from people after this conference about the opportunity that they had to connect with women at the Leaders and Legends. So Women of Color STEM advocates are lifted up by their peers for recognition and honored for their efforts. And we saw it all day yesterday. Yesterday at the Technology Recognition event, we saw fellow STEM folks celebrated for showing us that we are and always have been, I love this, the true power grid of society. So we're going to continue. This morning we talk about embracing the change we face, new realities, medical, scientific, political, educational, and social. And our progress, ladies and gentlemen, cannot be stopped. So please welcome one of this conference's strongest supporters of that progress, conference co-host, Raytheon Technologies President, Air Power, Paul Ferraro, to the stage for a few remarks.
Well, good morning. It is a thrill to join you with this special event in which you're being recognized as one of among America's best performers in technology. The sheer amount of talent and breadth of your achievements is awe-inspiring. We at Raytheon cheer you on through your struggle, support, and amplify your progress. We especially want to pave the way for positive change in our industry. There is no positive change without the presence and contributions of women of color in all aspects of STEM. We do more than respect that change. We encourage it. We embrace it, we're enriched by it, and we salute you in all that you set out to accomplish. Dr. Pamela McCauley, thank you so much.
Paul, what makes this Leaders and Legend event so unique is the combination of a small number of special recognition awards with an intimate conversation afterwards with some of the trailblazers in the STEM universe. You're going to be in for a real treat, we assure you of that. So let's get right into the presentation of some of the awards. And I'm honored to give you a glimpse of our first special recognition award recipient. As Capture Director at GDIT, Angela Butler brings great ideas, inspiration, and warmth to each of her leadership roles. She mentors colleagues and new hires in all aspects of STEM. Ms. Butler is actively engaged in the community, working with kids to encourage them to love STEM the way she does. She is a caring servant leader. It is my pleasure to present Angela Butler. My apologies. You look beautiful. You're welcome.
Good morning. Connection and purpose inspired by faith and family. This statement describes my personal and professional driving force. Do your best in whatever role you have. When you love what you do, success will follow. Good stewards take care of the gifts God has given them to manage. Whether your gift is engineering, coding, analytics, or other STEM-related fields, embrace the opportunity to thrive where you are. My challenge for you is to inspire others and be the light that helps other people of color see their way. I'd like to thank my family, my friends, and colleagues for their support on this journey. Thank you so much for this award.
Thank you so much, Angela. And we were bonding over shoes in the back. But helping other people of color see their way, it can be a really challenging directive, particularly when we see so many folks today tend to want to deny us as women and deny many of us as people of color just some of our basic rights. Our right to privacy, right to health, to have safe drinking water, and a safe classroom for our children. But we, as women of color, welcome the full support of our employers and community leaders and our colleagues in marching toward a fully lit path. Now here to present the next award is Jacobs VP, Global Director of Operations, Global Digital Center of Excellence, Cleo Thomas Jr. Let's hear for Cleo.
Hello, everyone. I'm honored to join you for the Leaders and Legends Breakfast and proud that Jacobs is sponsoring the Women of Color in STEM Conference. This year's conference theme, The Struggle, the Progress, the Future, is essential to understanding what it takes to increase the number of diverse, high-performing teams, not only in Jacobs, but teams everywhere. Leaders and legends are two powerful words that define people we interact with daily. But sometimes we fail to recognize the greatness they embody. Society might define leaders and legends and heroes by the number of likes and clicks. But when I think of leaders and legends, several names come to mind. Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, Madam C.J. Walker. They represent the past and the struggles minorities face during challenging times. But because of their leadership and focus on making the next generation better, they inspired progress. When talking about leaders and legends, do we consider those that we have in our everyday lives? I saw it daily growing up. My mother, Mary Dean Thomas, my father, Cleophas Sr., faced difficult times, but displayed the leadership at home and at work. My mother dedicated her life to teaching and became a principal. My father advanced to become the lead welder when black leaders at the railroad plant were very rare. They were leaders and now legends in my eyes. They shaped the lives of local folks and set an example for the community to follow. Leaders and legends come in many forms: parents, mentors, teammates, all who impact our life and our career. Your accomplishments are outstanding, but your support system is even greater. Let's take a moment to thank those who have contributed to your success. After retiring from the Army, I searched for a company focused on action and being a part of the solution. Jacobs is that company. We set the standard for challenging today and reinventing tomorrow. I am happy to see talented women of all color awarded for their contributions. Rewards feel like they come far and few between, yet you are genuinely admired by many. Today, please take a moment to congratulate yourself because you truly deserve it. The industry is celebrating your achievement today at Women of Color. I am grateful to be a part of this experience, and I can't wait to see the extraordinary accomplishments that you continue to unfold for you and for everyone around you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cleo, for those inspiring words. Our next awardee is amazing, but I mean, they all are. Truly, this is such a joy to be here. So, Ada Gonzalez Lopez is a 33-year Navy veteran who started in propulsion engineering and recovery systems for aircraft carriers. Got that? She started out working on aircraft carriers, those huge boats that carry our naval aircraft. Now she oversees a budget of over $1 billion in military sales for 40 countries. Oh, and by the way, she mentors fellow engineers, runs marathons, volunteers for medical missions in Africa and South America. Wow, I am so proud to recognize Ada Gonzalez Lopez. And we do know that Ada, and Ada is amazing. I actually know Ada. She wasn't able to be here today, so I will accept this on her behalf. So thank you. Now, let's continue. Please give a round of applause to Abbott Laboratories' Deputy Vice President of Scientific and Medical Affairs. She's a 2022 Outstanding Achievement Awardee herself. She's amazing. Here's Yen Ling Lo.
Hello and greetings to everyone attending today here in Detroit and virtually around the country. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm Yen-Ling Lo, Divisional Vice President of Scientific and Medical Affairs for Nutrition Business for Abbott. Every day, I have the privilege to work with some of the smartest women in Abbott. I lead a global team of more than 150 scientists, doctors, researchers, and specialists to discover and develop science-based nutrition products that help people live healthier lives. It's an honor to attend conferences like this, where I'm surrounded by accomplished women in the STEM field. On behalf of Abbott, I offer congratulations to you, dedicating your careers to the STEM fields and to all the honorees. Diversity on our teams in both our labs and offices is critical. By engaging many different people with different backgrounds, we benefit from diversity of thought and experience. It opens our eyes to natural blind spots we all have and gives us a greater perspective, which is crucial to developing health innovations that positively impact all people. Abbott is committed to building the diverse, innovative workforce of tomorrow because we know diversity is critical to our success at helping more people live healthier, better lives around the world. Abbott is also actively shaping our organization for the future by prioritizing diversity and inclusion and advancing STEM education and internships. Abbott's 2030 Sustainability Plan aims for gender balance in STEM roles with at least 45% female representation, and we are almost there at 44%. We are also aiming to create opportunities for more than 100,000 young people including 50% from underrepresented groups in our STEM programs and internships. We have already provided nearly 24,000 of these opportunities to interns who work across our company. We are proud of these efforts and know we are stronger when we act with others, which is why I'm honored to be here with all of you today. Congratulations again to all of you for being courageous in the STEM field, and especially to those being recognized today. May we all have continued success. Thank you.
Wow. Yen Ling, thank you so much for those words, and thank you to all of our amazing sponsors. It's so encouraging to hear of the initiatives that we have underway at so many of the great organizations that are part of Women of Color. And also, you can read more about our awardees, because obviously we only give you a little snippet of who these amazing awardees are, but you can read their complete bios in our Women of Color magazine. Now, here to present our next special recognition award is the Executive Vice President and Chief Sustainability Compliance Officer for Huntington Ingalls Industries, Paul Harris. Let's welcome Paul.
Good morning. Candace Kenner is an engaging leader and enthusiastic champion for all things talent. Senior Manager of Talent Acquisitions at HII Mission Technologies, Ms. Kenner has leveraged nearly 20 years of talent acquisition experience to motivate her team to find creative solutions in a fast-paced customer environment. Ms. Kenner is devoted to community service and giving back, mentoring other aspiring women in business and youth. Her team's responsible for identifying and hiring the workforce of our future, and she's a true leader in the workplace and the community. Candace doesn't just raise the bar for what excellence looks like, she is the bar. I'm proud to present Candace Kenner.
Morning. Anything worth having is worth working for. This has been drilled into me since childhood and continues to ring true. Hard work, tenacity, and resilience all helped bring me to this point. Learning is a lifetime process, and I'm always seeking ways to grow, contribute, and challenge others to grow. I'm honored to accept this award and grateful to the mentors and leaders who have walked with me on my journey. The encouragement and example set by my family, my husband Corey, and bonus son Brendan keep me going. And my parents and biggest role models, Cheryl and Wayne Mangum, have been my loudest cheerleaders, showing me the importance of a positive attitude, faith, grace, and embracing all life presents you. Thank you.
Congratulations. I love that. That's so cute, bonus son. Now, don't forget, you can turn your channels in your hotel room to 51 to see interviews with your colleagues, award winners, and you might even get a glimpse of yourself. And there's so much more. But now let's have a warm welcome for our sponsor, L3 Harris's Senior Director of Engineering, Jessica Coots.
Good morning. Embracing change is a necessary mindset for growth. Yet uncertainty and fear can often hold us back from taking action that leads to true change. While a particular change can be difficult, it can also be welcome and a very positive experience. When change is embraced, it can be a relief. It can be an answer that creates new questions. It can drive us to learn new skills and accept more risk. All of this is also true of so many things in the STEM world. Everyone in this room has shown us and continues to show us that women of color in STEM belong. L3 Harris is proud to advocate, welcome, and promote this continued change, and it makes the world a better place. And may we always embrace that change. Thank you on behalf of L3 Harris, and pass it back to Pamela. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you're going to hear more from Jessica later. She's going to be on that panel that we talked about. And so now on to recognizing more trailblazers. She has been described as a trailblazer, an incredible advocate with an undeniable presence, and get this, a fashionista. That's what I'm talking about. These are a few examples that illustrate our next award recipient, Ashley McQueen. Ashley has established an astonishing reputation both within her organization and community. She worked with the local public library branch to curate collections that highlight African American authors and stories. She encouraged more displays that reflected all communities that they serve, where every child and every adult walking through those doors could easily find a book that reflected their culture. She is a genuine ally of all of our communities, and I am so proud to present Ashley McQueen. And I think she's on Zoom. Oh, yes, Ashley.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to do a quick shout out to my children who will watch this virtually. Mommy made it. I am so honored to be chosen for this award. I would like to thank my Lord for blessing me with a gift that has allowed me to inspire change within my organization and my community. You know, someone asked me, why is this award so important? My response is that this award is amazing, but it's the fight that most matters. The fight for diversity, the fight for inclusion, and the fight to break down every glass ceiling that society tries to impose. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. I like that. Let's break down these glass ceilings. Now, STEM colleagues, let's turn our attention to the screens now for a video message from another great sponsor and friend of our conference, Leidos. So here's Senior Executive and Group President, Steve Cook.
Hi everyone, Steve Cook here. I serve as the Dynamics Group President at Leidos. Thank you for the opportunity to be a part of today's event, even virtually, and recognize the extraordinary impact women of color have on STEM. At Leidos, STEM is at the core of our company. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics are all key to capturing our work with customers, collaborating with partners, and connecting across communities. As a company, we strive to live inclusion and diversity by creating a space for all innovators to thrive and challenge norms. Women at Leidos are shaping the future of technology, and I'm proud to continue advocating for and elevating women of color who have demonstrated excellence in the workplace. Congratulations to all of today's awardees. There will be no progress in STEM without each and every one of you. Thank you again for the opportunity to be a part of celebrating your determination and success.
Awesome. Awesome. So appreciate our sponsors. Now let's go on to more recognition. Mai Chi Nguyen is a highly talented engineer and a cornerstone to Bell's engineering team. With a kind heart, Mai Chi has also dedicated time to helping the people in Vietnam and is such an inspiration to her many friends at Bell that they formed a nonprofit organization called the Agape to aid the people of Vietnam in whatever ways they could. Outstanding. She helps educate children, pay tuition, and provide school supplies. Mai Chi saves all of her vacations for Vietnam mission trips and has done this every year since 1996. She is a true role model, and it's such a joy to present Mai Chi Nguyen.
Good morning, everyone. Every day is a blessing, since I come to this country. Half a day after landing in the United States in November of 1989, I was working at a sewing machine for 14 to 15 hours per day for 2 years. I started community college in 1991 with only 3 words: yes, no, okay, and smiles. I graduated first in my class at University of Texas at Arlington, Electrical Engineering Department in 1996, and have worked for Bell ever since. I thank God for the opportunities this wonderful country has given me: education, a great job, great people at Bell to form the nonprofit organization helping the needy in Vietnam who do not have the same opportunities as I did. I'm so grateful for this special recognition. I would like to express my appreciation to my parents who just celebrated their 65th anniversary yesterday. My husband, James, my family, to the professors at UTA, Agape Love for Vietnam, and my Bell Textron family. May God bless America.
Wow. Thank you. Ah, the inspiration. I'm getting emotional up here, folks. This is beautiful. Congratulations again. So we're such a better nation, a richer nation, a better people because of families like my Cheens who come from across the world to make their home the United States. You can read My Cheese' entire bio and other awardees' bios, as I mentioned, in our magazine, so don't forget. Now, please welcome to the stage someone else who's made this nation better, richer, and safer. She herself won a Woman of Color Career Achievement Award in Government and a BEA Army Stars and Stripes Award. Please welcome the commander of the South Pacific Division of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Colonel Antoinette R. Gant.
Good morning. Ms. Vanessa Noyer is the Chief of the Software Engineering and Evaluation Branch for the Engineering Research and Development Center of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. For 24 memorial years, she served in many, many different roles, showcasing her versatility in all of them. Ms. Noyer is fiercely committed to inclusion, diversity, and equality. I am proud to present this award to Ms. Vanessa Noyer. Vanessa could not be with us today, and so she did send her script because this was unexpected. And so I'm just going to share with you a little bit about what she had in her acceptance speech. So I'm channeling my Vanessa here. Although my Mississippi hometown is home of 3 engineer organizations of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, I was rarely exposed to scientists and engineers, and certainly few looked like me, meaning Black and female. Nonetheless, my mother, a single parent of 4, never failed to tell me that I had everything I needed to become whoever I wanted to be, as long as I was willing to work hard, keep my faith, and help someone along the way. Today's award is a testament of her encouragement. That's her mother, that is. I'd like to thank her, my organization, for nominating me for this prestigious award. Congratulations again to Vanessa Noyer.
Yes, congratulations, and thank you, Colonel, for channeling your inner Vanessa. Thank you all so much for being just amazing, amazing women who have been recognized here. So thank you, Vanessa. You are a testament to a parent's faith in a child. It can be both a solid bedrock and a trampoline that child uses to go on to greatness. So now allow me to introduce another presenter. Introducing Abbott's Senior Vice President of Quality Assurance, Regulatory, and Engineering Services, Scott House. Welcome, Scott.
Good morning. The honoree you're about to hear from leads my corporate global compliance and quality operations across time zones and numerous businesses at Abbott. It's a critical role to achieving our purpose of helping people live healthier, fuller lives. And quite honestly, she's amazing at it. But what's equally remarkable about Agnes is that her ability to help young women find the best in themselves and use those abilities to live their best lives. She mentors Abbott STEM interns and started a ministry with her church to coach young professional women to be successful in their careers. I'm proud to present Agnes Ortega.
Growing up in a little room in a little apartment on the little island of Puerto Rico, I would dream of microscopes and white lab coats. These dreams led me to a career in science and engineering, and today to be with you, accepting this honor. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my mother, who always put my education before her own needs. I dedicate this to her, watching from heaven. To my amazing husband, my adorable sons, to Abbott, in particular, my manager, Scott House. And lastly, to the many little girls in little rooms who dream of working in STEM one day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Agnes. That was so meaningful. Our next Special Recognition Award winner presenter is coming up now. This presenter is from Lockheed Martin. She's a Systems Engineering and Integration Manager from Lockheed Martin Space. Please welcome Lori Kahn.
As a product lead and subject matter expert at Lockheed Martin, Han Schnell inspires her engineering teams to perform at their absolute best. She is a dynamic mentor who leads by example and lifts others up as she moves up. She is an active volunteer with STEM Outreach, where her energy seems boundless. She is a true role model. As a Lockheed Martin colleague and fellow STEM advocate, I'm both honored and proud to present this Special Recognition Award to Han Schnell.
Good morning. I am very humbled and honored to receive this award. I became a refugee from Vietnam at a very young age, which makes being recognized here today an even greater and more special achievement for me. I hope that I can inspire others who look like me to pursue a home in the professional environment and exciting and pivotal field of STEM. I am grateful to my family, my nominator, and to all those who supported me throughout my career. Thank you so much.
Congratulations again. Families who must flee their homes and come to our country should be welcomed and embraced. And it's incumbent on each of us to make this a reality. So bravo, Han, on your success and on your heart. Now let's welcome another presenter. Welcome to the stage our next presenter representing one of our generous event sponsors, Leidos. Director for Inclusion and Diversity, Tashai Karper.
Good morning. Antoinette Ward is a pioneer in data collection and analysis. She created many of the skills and methods used to provide critical communication capabilities across the Department of Defense. Executives rely on Antoinette's recommendations regularly. She facilitates group discussions, trains new employees, and mentors new interns. Antoinette's innovative spirit, exceptional work ethic, and natural ability to lead by example gives her unlimited opportunities to grow and thrive in the information technology industry. She is changing the face of STEM and technical excellence in the industry. I'm proud to present to you Antoinette Ward.
Good morning. The importance of education and critical thinking was instilled in me at an early age. During my high school years, I was determined to excel academically to pave the way to a higher education. Being resourceful and determined, I earned a bachelor's and master's degree in the field of engineering. Through heartache and tragedy, I persevered with a bird's eye view of each of my goals I set for myself, hitting each target. I am humbled and filled with gratitude for the recognition conferred by this Woman of Color STEM Award. I want to thank my family, my friends, and coworkers for all of their love, support, and encouragement. Thank you. It's truly an honor. Thank you.
Well, congratulations again, Antoinette. This entire conference is filled with such inspirational trailblazer, and you are one awardee closer to hearing from our 2022 Technologist of the Year, and she is a part of the panel that's coming up. But first, let's welcome Rob Goki, Executive Director of Otis Elevators North American Operations. You'll get a rise out of him. I'm supposed to, who's writing my script, okay?
Good morning. Couldn't resist the elevator joke, right? So Whitney Wirtz leads a team based in the United States and China that coordinates factory fulfillment for high-rise new construction. She supervises engineering, estimating, and quality solutions while managing a portfolio that generates over $200 million annually. The first time I met Whitney, I just joined Otis during the first summer of the pandemic, so we had a virtual meeting. She was captivating, expressive, calm, confident, and completely in control. I became an immediate sponsor. Whitney's greatest joy comes from her family and serving her community, in addition to performing her job at an exceptional level. Her commitment to our organization, as well as the community in which we live and serve. I'm proud to present Whitney Wirtz.
Good morning. I hope everyone has had some coffee this morning. I am humbled and honored to be in the room with such incredible women. I'd like to first thank my colleagues who are here today and those who are not, and I especially want to thank my family. I want to thank those in Otis who make this organization such an inspiring place to work. This award certainly took me out of my comfort zone, yet it gave me a chance to honor a wish that my father gave to me shortly before he recently passed. He asked that I stop dimming my light. I took that challenge, and I've heard it from many of you this weekend, and I hope you guys carry that challenge with you. Years ago, I found a letter where my mother had received a full fellowship to Oxford University for graduate school. I asked her why she hadn't gone. She explained her reasons with tremendous confidence. She wanted to dedicate her time to her family, and for that, I am forever grateful. And I would like to dedicate this award to her. She placed a seed, sharing that she envisioned me thinking about bridges and buildings. Looking at the lights that I see in global skylines all around the globe, I am so grateful for that seed that she planted in me. She challenged me to look past the teacher's encouragements to be a teacher or a nurse. And as I look at the buildings around the skyline, I'm grateful to have contributed to many of these buildings and partnered with my colleagues. I'd like to challenge each of us to plant seeds in others, to be encouraged and to be an encourager. As we think about the struggle and the shift, let it be a shift that goes forward, not just for Q4, but to 2023. Thank you.
Welcome to the Women of Color STEM Conference DTX experience. Stay up to date on all the conference events with the mobile app. To get the app, follow these easy steps.
1. Go to the Apple Store or Google Play Store. 2. Type Career Communications Group into the search bar. 3. Select the CCG STEM icon and press Install. The download process will begin. 4. Open the app and select Women of Color, then press Load. You are now plugged into the schedule and happenings of the Women of Color experience.
For the past 25 years, the Women of Color STEM Conference has been a North Star, a place of community, trust, and encouragement for women everywhere who are working to make the world a better place. What began as a trailblazing new awards show has flourished into a reliable pillar of the STEM community. Over the last 25 years, the Women of Color STEM Conference has grown strong, recognizing thousands of diverse women for their work, providing career-enriching training opportunities, building bridges between talent and industry, helping each generation to pass the torch and pay it forward. Over the decades, the world has encountered seemingly impassable barriers to connection, including the recent worldwide pandemic. But through it all, the Women of Color STEM Conference has consistently responded with innovation and determination, breaking through these barriers and creating new portals for connection, as we remained true to our mission of connecting powerful women with one another. As we engage the future, we intend to keep building upon the results that have brought us this far, and we are excited about the challenges and the rewards ahead.
Well, hello, we're back. Thank you for that video. So as I mentioned, this is a time when we get to hang out with you a little bit. So we're going to meet some amazing women. And just want to give you a little bit of background about this experience. This experience is designed to help you get a little more insights into some of the amazing women that have been highlighted at this conference. And so you're going to have an opportunity to hear from them. We're going to have a conversation, just sit around and talk like we're at the house having some coffee. And then we want you to be a part of that conversation. And so this is, again, called our Leaders and Legends panel. So women, you have been the backbone of so many cultures, and a lot of times we aren't given some of the same opportunities as men, but it is so rewarding to see this. So we will get started with bringing our panelists out. I am so excited. So again, you remember I told you that their bios are their full bios are in the magazine, and I felt bad not having more of an introduction for them, but you'll get to know them as we begin this panel. So our first panelist is Dr. Valerie Shears Ashby, and she is the president of the UMBC campus and Technologist of the Year. Madam President, welcome. Our next panelist is Jessica Coots, Senior Director, Systems Engineering at L3 Harris. Come on out, Jessica. You heard from Jessica earlier. And our next panelist is Dr. Beverly Thompson, Senior Scientist, Leidos. So come on out, Dr. Thompson. Awesome. Awesome. And I think, I'm Pamela, and I will be with you as well. So let's give a round of applause for our amazing panelists. Okay. All right, shall we have a seat? All right, so it's so nice to sit here and relax and chat with you ladies. And as I mentioned, you all have just been amazing women, and it's truly an honor to share the stage with you. And as high-achieving women, oftentimes people don't really get a full understanding of some of the things that you go through. I mean, Madam President, we know you had some challenges as becoming a president, and as high-achieving women, our panelists really are here to share and some strategies with you, some of the things we may have done, maybe some of the things that we should have done, didn't do and should have done, and just some of the things I want us to be thinking about, because I've learned we have to be strategic with our career, because it's going to happen anyway. So we have to have a strategy. So a career strategy can be a very valuable tool as we determine the path we want to take. And I think we see today, I see post-COVID, and we'll talk a little bit more about that there are so many different paths that we can take. We need a short-term strategy. We need a long-term strategy. You may even want an impact statement. I'm not sure how many of you have worked with coaches or mentors, but an impact statement can be a very valuable tool to help you get clarity on the things that really matter to you as it relates to your career and your personal life. So I want to just bring in our panelists. Madam President, what have been some of the strategies that you've used as you have ascended to president? And again, congratulations, my sister.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. What I would say is that the most important strategy that I've had is mentorship.
Mentorship. Amen to
Hands
that.
down. Hands down. What I would tell you is that I did not know what I was doing. Just to be clear, people ask me, how do you become a president? I say, I just found that out.
Wow.
And so
I appreciate that honesty.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I have had mentors who really have just guided me step by step. I love what I just heard. Someone just said, don't dim your light. And my mentors kept saying, don't dim your light.
Wow.
And so listening to those mentors and following that guidance and believing that we could do, that I could do what they thought I could do. But I will tell you, I had no strategy.
Wow.
Now, I know strategy works for some people, but I had no strategy.
No, I mean, I appreciate the honesty. It just depends. But mentors, oftentimes, their words sort of become our strategy or guide us. I don't know if you all have experienced some of that. What have been some of your experiences as it relates to strategy and getting to this wonderful level that you've achieved?
So I really love this question because when we start our careers, we sort of have in mind kind of where we want to ascend, but as we're going through this process, we find that what we really want to do changes. And so when I started my career, especially at Leidos, which at the time was SAIC, you know, I had just gotten my PhD, I joined this team, and it's like, I'm going to be a high performer, right? So I'm going to high perform.
You started out making
I'm
your
going to
mind
high
up.
perform. I'm going to build my performance reviews. So my performance reviews were like a dissertation because, you know, I'm going to show that I'm supposed to be here, right? Because I'm still in the mode of thinking and proving, should I be here? Should I be here? Should I be here? And so the beginning years, a lot of it was going through that proving. But some things happened to me, and I was talking to Valerie about this, as our personal evolution grows, it often mirrors where we're going in our professional career as well. And so for me, when I got the opportunity to do breast cancer research, well, that was powerful, right? Because I'm now in charge of breast cancer research team. I'm now learning how to collaborate with other organizations. I'm running my own team. And I'm thinking, I'm going to be able to do something now that's going to have impact on people, women, in communities that are impacted by this. And so as I took the opportunity to look at personally, what are the things that mean something to me, they interjected into what happened in my career choices. And so when I went back to school and I got a degree in peace building and development, then I was able to look at, well, what are the type of things as a technology affect communities that are impacted by conflict. And so growing that expertise in Leidos, then I had other organizations that called upon me to say, can you come in as a community engagement advisor in Africa and talk about how is this technology going to impact what we're trying to do.
Wow.
And so for me, it was the personal career interchanging. And I think I encourage you to take an opportunity to see what you want to do for your career, but what do you want to do personally as well, and make those impacts.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Sounds like your impact, the impact you wanted to make, that drove your strategy.
It did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's outstanding. And Jessica, in terms of your experiences, mid-career folks, I mean, some folks might be saying, well, dang, I've been working 10 years, and I'm 10 years down, and my strategy's not tight. So what are some of the... It's okay.
Look,
we got you.
I just
we
told
got
you, you're going to be all right.
Okay. Amen. You heard that? She said, the president said, you're going to be all right. All right. Exactly. We got you, lady. Jessica.
Yeah, I think for me, I had this strategy. I don't even know if I would call it a strategy. I'm an electrical engineer by trade. I went into the RF. I'm an RF and antenna engineer, by design, by background, and I went in thinking, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a technologist. I'm going to be the best RF and antenna engineer that I can be. I'm going to prove myself through those activities, through the circuit cards I design, through the systems that I design, and that's how I'm going to get my credibility with my team, right? And so I really thought I was going to take this technologist path, right? But I had people who saw things in me that I didn't see in myself, right? There was other people that stepped up and said, we think you'd be a good leader. We think you'd be a good, what we call it an integrated product team leader or a cost account manager. We think you'd be good at leading teams. And so I think for me now in my career and looking back, and kind of what this panel has been about, embracing change, right? Visualize your career and the multiple paths it can take, not just one path. Look around at leaders that you admire, look around at your colleagues and what paths are they taking, and don't be set on one direction, right? There's multiple opportunities that might be a better fit as you grow and as you learn and as you have different experiences. And I really enjoyed my time as a design engineer, and it has so many applications to what I'm doing now, and it really helped me gain that credibility. But I really enjoy being a leader and a manager also. So stay agile, stay flexible in your career, and have multiple paths, and be able to pivot, right? Be able to pivot, definitely.
Well, and it sounds like relationships and people sewing into you was a big part. And I want to encourage everyone here in our audience, never miss an opportunity to be a source of encouragement or sow some positivity into someone's life. I mean, you may never know the impact that you're having on them. And that really gets to the question of relationships and network. And again, one of the reasons I'm so glad you're here, and I've said this many times, make sure you connect with someone. Connect with us on LinkedIn. I mean, connect with these amazing women. And it's so funny when it's just the spirit of support here. When I was backstage, I stumbled, and I was way too early to be stumbling, okay? And one of the women, she said, "We got you." She said, "Don't worry about it, we got you." And that's the whole spirit of being here. So, and it was you. Thank you, Sister Lidos. She said, "I got you." So, that's a mindset that I want us to have. So, speaking into someone's life, and that sort of gets on to other things as it relates to relationships and networks. And so, Valerie, we talked a little bit about relationships and your thoughts in terms of how that's impacted your career.
Yes, so this is really critical for me. And the relationships are important because the people who mentor me, it matters who they are.
Yes.
Because everybody can't be your mentor, as you know.
Right.
And I have to share values with my mentor. And they have to be some people who are not trying to make me into them.
Right.
But are trying to help me be the best person that I can be.
Exactly.
And so that has just been really critical for me. And listening to what you all were saying, you're capturing it beautifully. And if you ask me, how do you combine the previous question with this one? There's only one strategy for me, and that is someone advised me of this when I was wondering what I was going to do. She said, just keep asking yourself, where do your gifts and talents meet the greatest need? Wow,
that's beautiful. Did you hear that? Where do your gifts and talents meet the greatest need? That's beautiful.
And
it's a servant mindset.
It's servant mindset,
really is.
Without a doubt. And so what it's done for me is, I think the reason I can say, you know, I don't have to think about the strategy is I just go where my gifts and talents meet the greatest need. And every job I've ever had has been my favorite job at the time.
Wow.
Every one.
Love it.
Because I was exactly where I was supposed to be, even if I didn't know what the next one would. If you would have asked me 6 months ago,
Right.
I didn't know I was going to be president of UMBC.
Wow. Wow. Look at this. She knows she's going to be president. That's all right. I love it. I mean, but networks are so important. We talked about mentoring. And, you know, as we think about our career, I mean, from undergrad to graduate school, I've had mentors in that network. And so let's talk a little bit about the networks, Jessica, and you all that you've experienced and how it's had an impact on your career.
So this is a subject I bring up a lot because I was, again, very naive when I first started out. I think my first 5, 10 years, I was going to prove myself through my technical abilities, and people would recognize that, and that's where I would, again, gain my credibility. And I didn't take a lot of time to develop my networks at that time, right? I had my teams that I worked with, right? I worked with my teams very well, but I wasn't making like the leadership connections and networking at outside events. And probably 10 years into my career, I realized how important that was. And if there's one thing I could go back and do better, it would be focusing more on networking as a junior engineer, going to more you know, events. We talk about ERGs, but going to more events at work, participating more. I started participating in IEEE conferences, right? Leading those conferences, making contacts outside of work, not just, you know, not just internally, but externally outside of work. I participate in women in defense activities.
Excellent.
Things like that. And that has really been so powerful for me. And I really regret not developing more relationships my first, you know, as a new grad through like my first 10 years. I thought it was just gonna carry me there because I was a great circuit card designer, and that was, and then this great systems engineer, and that's all I needed. But there's so much more.
I'm so glad to hear you make that point. And I think a lot of times we do I'm just going to be great. I'm going to put my head down and work. But you need those relationships.
You do.
It really matters. And I'm glad you pointed out relationships beyond your place of employment. So professional societies, I mean, it has been such so many of the awards and recognition and opportunities that I have achieved have been because of those professional relationships. And so for those of you, if you don't have a lot of professional relationships, what are your professional societies? I mean, there's other organizations that you can join. So really, I mean, get out there. What's been your experience with that, Beverly?
It's really important to find your group, your tribe. And whether that's within your company, we have our ERGs, we have All In at Leidos, and so that you have an African American network, but there are other networks that are available as well. And so finding your tribe, your core, your allies to help support you when you get in the door is really important. If you don't know who it is, go find them. Go ask 50 people until they tell you who you can call for advice.
Say it again, Beverly. Ask people.
Ask people.
Don't you have to pretend like you know everything? Nobody does.
Right. No, you're right. And you have to take the initiative as well. Make yourself known. Here I am. This is what I have to offer.
Say
this
it
is what
one more time.
Yes.
Seriously, because we won't do that, women. We sit back and we're going to work hard and wait for somebody to notice us. No. Say it again, Beverly.
This is who I am. This is what I have to offer.
Yes.
You know, and how can we work together? And I think you have to find mentors and allies in different ways within your organization, outside of your organization, in our ERG, outside of that, at NSBE, at SWE, at, you know, wherever you can find them. And I think that is the key, because you need encouragement from different places. And all of those together kind of help you build your self-esteem and keep you forward. And having people in your ear saying, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Because you're gonna hear a whole lot of other things that say otherwise.
Right.
And you need those messages.
Listen to those voices.
You need an IV that you can plug into and download when you need it, so, yeah.
So you're talking about having that confidence and
Yeah.
knowing who you are. Jessica, I'm going to kick it over to you and ask you, how do you develop as a leader? How do you think about developing as a leader? And talk a little bit about how we do those things in STEM.
Yeah, so when I look back, definitely you can develop as a leader. We hear about, natural born leaders. To me, that's just somebody that exudes confidence, and I think there are different paths here, but I think developing as a leader is very experiential, right? And that's not just at work, too. When I think about it, I think it's personal situations, too. How do we learn, from difficult situations at the grocery store with our kids' teachers? How are we taking that into consideration in developing as a leader? How are we taking the adversity that we deal with, sometimes on a daily basis, and learning from that, reflecting on that, and learning what skill sets do we need to develop and apply to future situations if we could, slow down, rerun that situation in our head. But if I look at certain characteristics that I think are important, that I focus on for me personally, right? We always talk about communication. And I think communication, whether that's written or verbal, you have to be a good communicator. And I mentioned I was an RF and antenna engineer, so I'll just say, it's not just about transmitting, it's about receiving too, right?
That's exactly.
You have to listen. And that's something I'm constantly working on. So I think the point is, right, for everyone, leadership traits are different. Some of them are going to come very natural to you. Some of us are introverts, extroverts are going to come natural, but there's others that we have to work on. I always have something to say. I have a very strong opinion. So listening for me right now is something that I really, really do have to apply. Apply listening, but I think when you listen, you hear what your team is saying, you hear what the people around you are saying, what their needs are, what their desires are, and that helps you develop others. So for me, the whole reason why I took my first leadership role was to develop others, to be there for my team, understand what they need. And to me, that is such a great satisfaction when I'm watching the people that I have managed and advocated for and sponsored move into new roles.
That's awesome.
And be more successful. And one or two that are important to me, decision making, right? I've learned I am a good decision maker. I think you have to go in to situations, learn what data you need to make decisions, make those decisions, and stand by them. You're not always going to be right, and that's okay, but you're going to learn from them. And then going back to the theme of all this, change management, right? Embracing change. Things are going to change constantly. You work at a big company, leaders above you are going to change. Priorities are going to change. Things are going to change constantly, and you have to be there. You have to be able to adapt to it and guide your team through those things. But I think for me, it's all the things that go along with teamwork, building trust and talking and setting that vision and really just being there for your team.
That's powerful. And we've been talking a little about mentoring, and the word mentoring keeps coming up. And you mentioned some of your team members that you mentor. But what if you don't have a mentor? What's a way to obtain a mentor, either inside your organization or outside? And how would you go about approaching someone if you were interested in them being your mentor? I know you've had a lot of mentors, Valerie.
Sure. So students ask me this all the time because I constantly talk about my mentors and how wonderful they are, and they say, "Well, how did you get those people?" Right. Some were gifted to me, and some I've learned now to go and get them. And so you may end up being my mentor. You don't know that, but I'm watching you, and I admire some things over here. So that's what I.
That would be an honor.
Oh my gosh, I look for people who are, one, doing incredibly well in their own careers, but not just what they're doing, but how they do what they do. Because I don't want to be, at the top at any cost.
I know that's right.
So when I see people do that with integrity, with humility, with encouragement of other people, those are the people I go to and say, okay, I like how you do what you do. Can you help me?
I like that. That's beautiful. And you know what? Even if the person doesn't have time, to be a full-on mentor, just ask them, I'd like to be a part of your network. Can we connect sometimes, maybe talk to you, once a quarter, chat about things. How have you handled some of that, Beverly?
I know for me, especially if there's an area that I'm interested in learning more about, and you're right, asking, can I spend some time with you in your job? What is it that you do? What is your day like? Looking at my talents and skills, if I want to do what you do, what do I need to be able to do that? And again, it goes to asking, right? Asking, and you would be surprised, asking can be very intimidated, but you would also be surprised at how many people actually like for someone to ask their opinion and how they do something and how can I help you? Because often we don't know how to be mentors for others. And so to have someone to come up to you to say, hey, how do you do what you do? Provides an opportunity for growth on both sides, the mentor and the mentoree. So find something that you're interested in, find someone who you can learn from, and then go after it. In the end, too, it's really recognizing that who you are, what you have, your voice is important. And to be able to grow your voice, you need to be able to ask as well as to be able to perform. Because asking in itself is a gift for someone else to impart their knowledge. So I'm an asker. I'm asking all the time.
And most people want to help. I found that most people want to help. I mean, they may not have a lot of time, but most people really do want to help. And particularly as we see us women in STEM out here, we know many of the challenges we have. So, Lord, I know all my struggle was not just for my benefit. So I want to be able to share some of my experiences and help other people. And and as we think about that in terms of developing as leaders, and you talked a lot about listening, which that's powerful because we do have to be able to listen, but to the right voices. So in addition to listening, what would be some of the other characteristics, Jessica, that you would think we would want to cultivate as leaders?
Yeah, I think I might have hit on a few of these already with the communication and listening and developing others, but when we develop others, we really need to figure out what motivates them and inspires them, right? So I feel like as a leader, especially as you grow higher in the organization, right, your time is being pulled in multiple directions. So you really have to be able to learn how to set that strategic vision for your team and take that, what is this vision? What is this long-term vision? But not just, right, that those sometimes can be catchphrases or, right, hard to decipher. How do you take that vision and break it down into objectives and goals so that your organization, people that work for you, they understand what their purpose is in the organization, and that we're all rowing in the same direction. So, right, going back to communication, that's constant communication. Is everyone on the same page? Are we having meetings so that we know who each other are? We know that we're not working on the same thing. We're not stepping over each other's feet. We know what progress we're making, and we know what we're driving to.
Right. Well, I think that's so powerful because so often oftentimes STEM leaders haven't had their leadership lane as developed as their technical lane. And so, it makes us apprehensive oftentimes about accepting those opportunities, but all of the things you're saying, I mean, how did you acquire this knowledge?
Again, I think when I look back, I think it's experiential, right? We go through training classes at work, and we learn a little bit from that, right? The training classes are sometimes a little silly or maybe don't apply directly to our jobs or directly to tech. But so experiential. And for me personally, when I look back, I had the privilege of moving. So I work a large company, L3 Harris is a large company, right? We have lots of different business areas. So, right, we've got aerospace and undersea systems and space systems. So
I would say about every 2-3 years, I would design something, I would follow that design through requirements, design, integration, and test, and then I would move on to something new, right? So I was in a new business area. I was meeting new people. I was learning how they did things in different ways, how operations function differently, working with program managers, working with finance, whoever that was. So I really go back to the experiential. I think we really have to ask. We have to ask
right?
for new opportunities.
And that's right.
Yeah.
I knew Beverly was going to jump in on that ask.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to realize when we're stuck. We're stuck. We need a new role. We're ready for a new role. We've proven ourselves. We've developed these skills. But where are our gaps, right? Where are our gaps, and what is going to get me into those new gaps? So we're continually learning. We're continuously learning new experiences. We're going to gain those skill sets, those characteristics that help us be better leaders, because we've seen more things.
Right.
We know how to react.
And I'm saying a common theme of ask. So speaking of ask, I knew we were going to get to Beverly about this. What have been some of your experiences in terms of asking to be in leadership roles?
So I really do love this because I'm an introvert for most things. And so,
except when it comes to asking for what you want, amen.
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about.
So I like to sit in the corner and do my work and develop things in the whole 9 yards. And so asking at times can be a challenge, but I do it anyway because I'm also learning how to create vision. And so there's been many cases when there's an opportunity for a leadership role to take, right? So I'm gonna come in, I've made my list of all the things I've done, I've got my checklist, I've done this, I've done budgeting, I've done management, I lead teams, I've done liaison, I took this class, all these type of things. But then too, one of the things I started to realize is that I got comfortable with the leadership roles that were there and now pushing myself to create a new one. So what does a new role look like that doesn't exist in this organization? What do I need to do that? How do I prove to a manager or an upper management that this leadership role is needed when it doesn't exist?
Well, I love that courage to identify a leadership role that doesn't exist. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. And that in itself requires some courage. But I think these are all of the places of getting out of your comfort zone that I think help grow you as well. And so I'm really in a big out of my comfort zone space right now in my career. So
it's working for you, sister. It's working for you. Yeah. So listen, when it gets tough in your STEM career, ladies, because we are going to have those difficult times. What are some of the strategies that you have used, or coping skills, or networks? Because we will have those difficult times. And I just want to say, but don't leave STEM. We need you. Stay. So talk about some of the things that you've done in those difficult seasons.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in because I have had my share. And I will tell you that relationships matter. You need a life that's not work.
Right.
And going to those people who don't care what I do. They don't care that that I was the dean. They don't care that I'm the president. They're just my people.
That's beautiful.
And those are the people who remind me that my value is not found in whatever that person said or the job or whatever, and just get back up and keep doing what you do. So that's one set of relationships that I think is important for us to have. I always tell people I have a whole life, so that one part of a life goes wrong on a day, it doesn't destroy my whole life.
Right.
And so that's really important to me. And then otherwise, I also have a lot of male mentors.
Male mentors.
That's on purpose.
She says she has male mentors. So you have to have a variety of mentors. Everybody don't need to look like you. Everybody don't need to go to church where you go to church.
Right.
Okay? So we need a variety of mentors. And that is so important. I'm so glad you said that, Val.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting thing. I won't generalize for men. But when I go in and I say, this happened today, my male mentors say, so what?
Wow.
And I say, okay.
And we all broke down as women, okay?
Right. They say, so what? Go back in there.
I know that's
and
right.
It gives me the courage that I may not have. And they said, that's
Right.
nothing. Go back in there.
Okay.
Ignore that.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Other things, ladies. I want to give the audience a chance to ask some questions, but want to hear from you ladies quickly on this.
Picking up on what Valerie said is allies. Really having allies are important. Those relationships are important. You know, when I've been in uncomfortable situations with co-workers and having an ally to talk about, what do I do in this situation? What is the strategy for making my way through this, helping me through a conversation, an uncomfortable conversation that I need to have because I need to be heard, right? And so having allies there, also saying to give feedback to me, to become a mentor. I feel like the allyship thing is something that if we don't learn how to develop, then we will struggle a little bit more because you need to know who is in your corner.
Absolutely.
And so,
no, that's powerful. I just want to highlight what you just said in terms of understanding how to establish allies. And if you don't, there's some good readings out there, but that is so important because allies can speak for you when you're not even in the room.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And you need those people in your circle. So make sure you do that. That's powerful.
I would just highlight a quick story that happened to me recently that I didn't expect to find myself in, speaking of challenges. We talk about lateral moves, which are good for our career to move around, maybe move to new sites or new locations. The segment I'm in has 45 locations. I travel a lot. I have sites that have very different experiences, small sites, large sites. But I had moved from Florida to Texas to take on a new role, and I was there for 3 years. And when I talked about change earlier, right, where the higher you go, the faster the leaders seem to move around. So sometimes you can lose allies because someone that was behind you is now in a different business area or now in a different area. So literally, I'm in this role, and we had a great team, but the company decided to merge two businesses together. And the new leadership team that came in, I did not feel like I was in the in crowd. I did not feel like I was being included and that I was wanted, basically.
Wow.
And so I had to decide, what do I do? Do I try to build this new network? Do I try to be part of this team? But it just wasn't gelling. It just felt like it was time to go. So sometimes you need to understand. It wasn't right. This is a large company. I wasn't leaving the company, but there's lots of other opportunities where I utilized my network. I went back to my mentors, my network, and I said, 10, 20 people, and said, hey, this is what's going on. Do you have any roles that would be for me?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it takes enough confidence to know that you can say, I'm going to go to another role and not just accept this.
Right. And the other thing, sometimes when we get higher up, the roles aren't posted on a job page.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
But when you are more junior, I think it's becoming more and more commonplace, junior, mid-career, to use your company's job site and go on there and say, what jobs are available? And you can apply to those jobs, right? You can absolutely apply to those jobs and interview with new teams and new people. Talk to your manager about that. You should talk to your manager about that before you do it. But I don't think it's necessarily...
Yeah, I did it one time. It wasn't a good thing. It wasn't. Okay.
I don't think it's frowned upon anymore. I think when you're looking for a new role, you can absolutely go out there on your jobs page and say, what else does my company need? Am I missing something here? I don't always know. I'm in California and I don't know what's going on the East Coast. So I think there's other resources that you can use when you're ready to move on. Absolutely. Or in a situation that you're just not comfortable
Right.
in.
And I like that within your own company because you can still add value in different locations. So listen, I want to make sure we have opportunity for some question and answers. So if you have questions, and I think we have a question from live stream, and I'm going to give me some strength here. You all spoke to the importance of being flexible within your careers. How have you distinguished promising career opportunities from career distractions? Good question.
Oh, I so want to answer this question.
Go ahead.
Okay. I so want to answer this question.
Go ahead, Madam President.
The reason I want to answer it is because one of the things that we have all had to do is to decide when is the answer yes and when is it no.
Wow.
And I have on my desk, and have had now for years, 20 ways to say no.
Okay.
Because I'm a yes sayer.
Yes.
Because as women, sometimes we feel like we have to say yes to every opportunity, or we might lose it, we might not have it again. So I had to learn how to say no.
Wow.
But this is the sentence that I use. Is this a great thing for me now?
Wow.
And you have to
say
start.
That one. Did you hear that?
Is this a great thing for me now?
Wow.
And I work with my mentors on this. Is it a great thing? Because sometimes I think, oh, I can do that. Can do it. We can do a lot of things. It's not a great thing.
Right.
And they'll say, but is it a great thing? Wow. And then they say, is it a great thing for me? Because it might be great for you, but it's not great for me.
Right.
Is it a great thing for me now? It might be time a year from now, but not now.
Mm-hmm.
And that truly helps me to not be anywhere that I am not supposed to be.
I like that.
It has been tremendous because I could not figure out how to say yes or no.
Wow. Yeah, we do. I say yes way too much. Okay? But, you know, as women like to say we want to help, but I'm going to try that. Is this a great thing for me now? I think we have a question, and there's mics out there for other people. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. Thank you very much for this. I'm Deja Spigner. I'm with Jacobs. Yay, Jacobs.
Yeah. Good to
love
meet
that.
My pronouns are she, her. And my question, well, first I have a point, and that is, as someone who's been both mentee and mentor, one of the gifts a mentee can offer their mentor is having purpose in each exchange. So your time is valued. So I appreciate all of you for the mentorship that you've offered others. My question is, as people who have gone through adversary and challenge, how do you serve as an ally to others and create opportunity for those who may be falling through the cracks in the next generations?
Wow. How do we create opportunities for the others? I mean, you want to jump on that, ladies? I mean, I certainly do it every day in the I'm still in the academy. Part of the reason I'm still in the university environment is because I do feel like I have had an opportunity to have that impact. And when it comes to STEM majors, engineering, there are still so few. We know we come here and we see all these wonderful, colorful faces, but we know that's not the reality of the situation. So in addition to mentoring, I am involved in professional societies. I support students individually. I write checks, okay? So I support things financially. So I think it's important that we are not just the beautiful role models that we are, but that we're a part of other people's success. So I actively do that as the advisor for students. And then I'm in my professional societies, I mentor women, young women. I'm mentoring 2 young professors now. So I'm very intentional about that. And I know my world in the academies can be very different. But also I've owned an engineering business for over 20 years. So I've mentored women who own engineering businesses. So that's been a huge part of my life because I've been such a benefactor of mentors myself. So.
I can address that. I love that question. And you can answer it, what are you doing inside of the company and what you can do outside of the company, as you mentioned, Pamela. So for me, having the opportunity to work with interns when we come in has been one of the things that I have found that's been really, really beneficial to kind of ushering in the new group of fantastic people who are going to take over in our place because we're not going to be here always. And so working with interns has been really powerful for me. Outside of that, I do a lot of community service work, working with STEM, empowering girls in STEM. And so, small plug. So,
that's just fine.
So I'm on the board and a mentor for an organization called careergirls.org. And so it's an online platform, and we collect stories of women. Their successes, how they got to the heights that they've achieved, who are their mentors. And so I think one of the ways that we can do is provide opportunities for girls to meet and interact with us. And I think that's been one of the biggest motivating factors for me. So when I'm not working, I'm working in some STEM community event with girls, also doing it internationally as well. Our organization creates STEM programs for girls. We've worked in several countries in Africa. And so it's about providing ways for girls everywhere to get access to what are the potentials for them. How can we develop them, their courage, their drive? How do we help them become engineers? How do we help them become scientists? How do we help them solve the problems that are important in their communities? So it's within the company and outside of the company as well, are ways
That's
I have
beautiful.
found. Yeah.
And so you don't, love what you're saying here, so they can support existing organizations. Right. Yeah, I love that. Exactly. Your experience, Valerie or Jessica?
Please, Jessica, go ahead.
I think, so when I look at work, we do a lot of things. We do talent reviews and things like that at work. And I am very deliberate about sending my team back to the table if they come to me with a list. You know, we do talent reviews for different things, whether that's technical, people that want to be fellows, whether that's people that want to be leadership. And if I don't have diversity on that slate, I'm going to reject it. Like, I need this, I have certain standards for that, and I'm going to reject it. And I actually keep lists personally on that I use when I'm in all hands events. When I read, people send me personal emails. I try to be a very transparent leader. So my teams, I have 1,200 systems engineers, I think, right now, and sometimes I will get
how many?
1,200 systems engineers that report.
Go ahead on, Jessica.
And I try very hard to be a very personable, open, transparent leader so that people are comfortable coming to me. So I will keep lists when people email me, right? I'm looking for this, or I'm looking for that. Or there was an example, we had an all hands one time, and the president of our segment was there, and he was, the people were not happy with the way he was answering questions, and this one young lady stood up and asked a very difficult question. And I immediately, the next day, I called her into my office, and I was like, I applaud you for what you did. You stood up for the rest of your team, and that was a difficult thing to do. And I am mentoring her, like, to this day, I mentor her on a bi-weekly basis. So
wow.
I keep this list of people, you know, from whether it's my colleagues or people that have recommended people to me that are on, you know, high potential paths or might need a little bit more, or, you know, things we take for granted. My dad was an engineer, so that was easy for me to have a mentor, but not everyone has mentors in STEM. So I keep these lists when I have special projects, when I have, I ran the United Way campaign for L3 Harris for 2 years in a row, and that takes a big team. So when you're running special projects, I go back to my list and I look in that list and I'm like, who can I pull into this team so that they can make more contacts, they can make more resources. So I think, again, it's the word being deliberate. You have to be deliberate about making sure those people don't fall through. You're recognizing them, you are figuring out ways to get them involved, and really forcing the difficult conversations when it comes to you know, look harder in your organization for people that want and need opportunities and have potential.
You know, the thing that I would add along that same line is, it is a joy for me to bring people with me. Oh my goodness, that's like joy for me. People who cannot see, just like my mentors did for me, seeing for me what I couldn't see for myself.
Right.
And so everywhere I go, I think, now who am I going to bring with me this time?
Right.
And who are we going to develop this time? Or who are we going to identify this time?
Yes.
And so along that same line of identifying people, it comes from being a teacher. When I would sit in a classroom and look at the students and say, now who in here doesn't know they're great?
Right.
Right.
Wow. Wow.
And so I love that kind of look around, and you know, when you get there, there are a lot of people who work for us, right?
Right.
Valerie is an encourager because I'm just thinking about when we were sitting in the back, and every one of you who came up to get your award, listen to her. Oh, she sounds good. Isn't that a great background? You go, girl. Yes, that's powerful. You know, and she's just sitting on the corner. Okay. Just mind her. I applaud that.
Oh,
I love it.
Yeah, I love that. I was like, I have to, yeah.
That is our technologist of the year 2022.
Thank you.
you so much for that question. That was so powerful.
Thank you all. And just from the
response.
passion each of you demonstrated, it shows that there are real rewards in how you help others. And thank you for being in the world.
Thank you so much. Another question. Yes.
Weird question. And that's that someone kind of appointed me as his mentor one time. And his advice to me was that engineering was not for me and I should find a good husband.
And you
this man
should
was
find a
my
husband.
manager.
Okay. Yeah,
My direct manager. So how do you tell a mentor, no thank you. I would not like you as my mentor.
Okay. Well, first of all,
I know, just pull it together.
Okay,
You
yes,
got it.
thank you.
Right there.
He told you engineering wasn't for you. They were wrong.
That's offensive.
Okay, all right. So, and we're going to talk after this too. But they told you engineering was not for you. They were wrong. I was told engineering wasn't for me. I was at the University of Oklahoma. I took my daughter to college with me. They told me I would never get a bachelor's degree in engineering. So when I got my doctorate, I sent him a card. Okay? All right, so it was wrong. Okay? Whether or not you want a husband is your business.
I don't.
And yeah. And now, you can have different levels of mentors. I have a mentor that can talk to me about my relationships, but I have some that we're just talking about professional things. But the negativity, that is what's bothering me here. Mentors don't need to be sowing negativity. And listen, I'm an optimist. A lot of us are optimists up here. If you're not one, you can become one, okay? You can. Optimism can be cultivated. If you haven't cultivated it, don't go saying nothing crazy to nobody like they said to this young woman. I'm just so glad you persisted. So the way to help a mentor know that they can't be your mentor, you don't want them to be your mentor without burning a bridge, you could say that you are, and I'm gonna need some help with this because I'm pretty direct. But say I'm a part of another, my professional society is establishing a mentoring program, and just about all of them. I'm a member of AWA Suite, numerous others. And so I'm actually going to be working with someone there, but I certainly appreciate your input, and maybe we can chat, sometimes, but I really need to focus on this professional development experience right here. That's when we lay it on an external professional development experience, okay? And thank them, and then don't listen to that crazy stuff. So listen, we could talk a long time. They're telling me I'm getting the hook that I need to start wrapping it up. But I will be here. Join me, connect with me on LinkedIn, and we can talk more about this. Yeah. But I just have to thank these amazing women. Have they been amazing? Okay. This is one of the most fun parts of the conference for me, because you see the bios and the titles, but then you get to hear stuff where, like Jessica said, she was feeling squeezed out and need to ask for another opportunity. And here we know Madam President. I mean, I love your energy and your spirit. I love that you always want to bring someone with you. And people probably just see her as president, don't know that that's a big part of who she is. And Beverly, I'm going to always remember, you said ask for it. I love that. We do not do that enough. Women ask for it. So it has been so wonderful and an honor to be on this panel with you amazing women. And I want to thank our conference sponsors, Raytheon Technologies, Jacobs, Abbott, L3 Harris Technologies, and Leidos. You all have been wonderful, and thank you again. Please connect with us. Please connect with us on LinkedIn. Connect with us here. We'll be here for the rest of the day. I think we are all going to get some breakfast after this, since we didn't get to eat. But we would love to connect with you. And thank you so much for being here. You've been an amazing audience. Thank you, ladies.